And we just got to give it a second there because you never know exactly when you're live. Usually takes about a minute or two to come in. Probably. It's live now. I think we're live, dude.
All right, we are. I see it.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Mixercist. A fine February evening, Sunday night, and we thought we would jump on here. We got a couple, this new product from SoundDrops, really cool. We got some cool movies we've been watching, stuff like that. What have you been up to, dude?
Wow, what have I been up to? For me, it's a lot of the business stuff. So it's been a lot of new releases that I'm working on. But in terms of production and in horror movies and stuff, I haven't really watched a lot of horror movies. You know what I've been into lately? Because some people are saying, I was reading an article, maybe it was Fango, that shorts are the future of independent film. Makes sense to me, right? Because a lot cheaper to produce. Audiences aren't committed for a full hour and a half or 2 hours for an epic saga. They leave that to the Marvel movies, and the producers do real crisp storytelling. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube shorts on horror. Fear Tapes on Instagram is one of my favorites, even though they're kind of the same after you've watched like 5 or 10 of them, but it's all AI. And it's actually really, really cool. Not like when we did AI and nobody had fingers. But
so each short is like an installment in like an overarching longer story. Does it work like that? Sometimes on Fear Tapes, it's like the way that it works. It's a bit gimmicky, but you send in a photo of yourself and you can sponsor a film for like, I don't know, $100, $200. And so they take your face and you're the main character. No.
And the thing, so go look up Fear Tapes on Instagram if you're on social media. But on YouTube, you can catch. There's so many independent horror producers that are making crazy good stuff. And I think you even sent me one of them. Anyway, I think that stuff's so cool.
Really cool. There was one that you sent me that they had done, I don't know, like on a phone, on iPhones or Android phones or something, and it looked pretty good. It was like,
it's incredible.
I've been watching too much. I was watching the Canadian soccer team last night. That was good. Which we won, so that's good. I watched the Bills yesterday, and they lost. They're gone.
Did they ever lose?
Oh my God!
Yep, they're gone, man.
They knew they played like shit, right? So.
A lot of fumbles.
Josh Allen afterwards was beating himself up more than I think I've ever seen any athlete. And then the coach came on, McDermott. He was doing the same thing. Just, no, we sucked. It was our fault. We didn't play good.
That was not their best game. No question. And I mean, the internet's all over Josh Allen because leading up to the playoffs, they were calling him superhuman, like he was a comeback kid. Now it's like, well, it's all over for the season. They didn't even go as far as they did last year. So it kind of sucks because I was hoping for the Bills.
Like incredible team, incredible athlete, Allen. I mean, he can do, it's his running game where no one else can do what he does, where you've got just as good a chance that he'll run the ball like 20, 30 yards that'll throw it, right? And it's like not many players could do that as consistently, right?
That's right.
But really sad, really strong team. I had high hopes. And
same here, buddy. Same here.
Crushed.
Yep.
But so what even? Well, you know what? Maybe do you want to get to the meaty stuff, the plugins? Because I know the fans
absolutely
like to.
Yeah. You guys want to hear about the plugins? So we found a good one.
Let's go to their website. We'll do things a little different this time. And this is from SoundDrops, our buddy Stefano, who is a third-party developer for Acoustica Audio. So if you had Acoustica stuff, especially back in the day, he was one of the main samplers for like the official Acoustica products. Brokoff had his third-party SoundDrops company. And there were quite a few third-party developers, back and forth, head-to-head with Acoustica. Nobody's quite sure the way that they wanted to do it and what the terms would be. It sort of fell out for, I believe, like a couple years, but now they're back with a new line for third-party developers that Acoustica is calling DEW, D-E-W. And this is the first of the DEW products. It's a Distortion saturator box. It does have like different guitar pedal tones, and also speaker sims, which are really nice stereo speaker sims. And the pedals, of course, give you that sonic flavor. The distortion itself is like, it can get really brutal, like almost like a fuzz. I have really good luck with fuzz on this one and with some guitar sounds, but we can have some, some examples and stuff. But that was just my take on it. But,
sorry.
I
didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's my first impressions of it were like, this is a very big sounding, very, can distortion be clear?
That's a great,
because it is, right?
If you guys are watching, go find I think it's on the ITHACA website, or maybe it's in Aquarius itself, but wherever you find this plugin to install it, there's a YouTube video. It's a demo. And I know you're going to show some sound samples, which is always so helpful, and you always have great samples, but there's some guitar samples in this video, and they're so fucking good. Like, it's one of those things where the minute you play it, it's like, take my money. I'm buying this thing.
Yeah.
So when Eric says, can it make something, how did you say it? Can a desaturator make something sound cleaner? Is that what you said? Or brighter?
Yeah, well, can the distortion itself be like big enough, not too compressed, but still really distorted? It's hard to describe.
Still really distorted, yeah.
Like it doesn't get small, right? It doesn't get like too squeezed.
I always say this with like when you plug in a real preamp, as opposed to the models that are in something like the UAD, things that are built right into the interface, that they're similar, but there's a width, even to a mono signal, which makes zero sense, but it's almost like there's a sound stage there. And it's literally bigger. So when you put this plugin on, it's crazy, but you'll hear that bigness all of a sudden. So saturators are a dime a dozen. This is a little bit different. And I'll just run through the controls because you got all the sound samples. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that'd be great. You want me to pull up the
yeah, pull up the plugin if you can, and I'll go off your screen. So first of all, I know you guys are always wondering, like, who should buy this? Do I need this thing? Do I need another plugin? And the answer, I just got to make your thingy bigger if I can here. The answer is, if you are, I don't personally love having low latency plugins in the DAW that my guitar is plugged into. That doesn't really make me happy. However, I grabbed a direct guitar sample, put it onto a track, threw this on top of it, and it was really nice. So I did two things. One, I tried it with the cab samples that are built into the ITHACA. If you look far right side, you see there's a Fender cabinet, there is a Vox cabinet, and a Marshall cabinet, and they all sound really great. So you can use those out of the box, just this plugin, nothing else. So if you had a DI signal, you know what I'm talking about? Plug goes straight from your electric guitar right into your interface, track it straight to your DAW, or put it in low latency monitoring mode and have this plugin on your monitor. Either way, you'll have distortion on top of that DI'd guitar signal, and it sounds smoking. However, I also tried it by turning the cabinet emulator on the right-hand side off, and I put Tonex behind it, and I shut the preamp off. Oh. So I tried it with like a Tweed cabinet, a 4x12, a California 412, and they all sound superb. So it makes me wonder, is this a preamp? Mm-hmm. Because if so, I didn't feel like I was missing the power amp when I went straight out of this into a cabinet, because I had the amp literally shut off, which means pre and power were off in Tonex. So this doesn't have a power section, or does it? I don't know. It's not in the manual. It doesn't say. I can tell you though, whether you use the cab sim that's built in or whether you want to use one of your own, like if you have a cabinet IR, it's probably going to sound awesome, because I had really good luck with the Tonex. So with that said, from left to right, there's a pre-EQ, which the manual describes as a tilt EQ, which basically means if you boost the treble, you're simultaneously reducing the bass, and vice versa. What I found with this is you're going to want to be on the north side of 2 or 3 o'clock for most input types. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise it's a little on the dark side. But if you want that, let's say you're doing a synth bass or something, you may want to trim it the other way. But for most guitar stuff, I did find a little bit on the high side was better. And then there's your drive, which is your saturation at very high levels. It's not smooth gainy, it's flubby. and fuzzy, but it's nice. And then after that, there's a bias control. The bias control determines whether or not you've got like a bouncy sort of drive or whether you have a choked sort of drive. Just kind of like a bias on a tube circuit or even a solid state amp. Going from one side to the other, I find that cranking it much past 8 doesn't make useful sound, at least not on guitar. Also on drums, I tried this on drums, sounds glorious. So I found that having the bias around between 4 and 6 was generally a sweet spot. And then after that, you have I can't see it from here.
Second harmonic.
Second harmonics.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So if you do this, especially on a guitar, like a harmonic instrument, the fatness is so juicy. Like it sounds so good and big and present. So tool around with that. I usually set it at around 4 and I got really great results. Anything more than that, it can get a little blubbery in the bottom end, right? Like a little too thick. And then on the right-hand side, you've got the ability to switch in basically the equivalent of a rat pedal, an overdrive, or a Big Pie or something like that?
Bluesmaster, I believe. BM. I don't know. Maybe it's Big
Muff. No, I think it's Big
Muff.
Muff. Yeah, the Big Muff Pie pedal. That's it. Yep. And so you have a tone that only seems to really make a difference if it's set to one of those three. If it's off, the tone knob doesn't do anything. Volume is your output volume. It doesn't really control gain or anything else. And then you have your cabinet emulator, which again, if you're going to throw this into an IR or some other effect, or maybe you're doing keyboards or you're doing drums and you don't want a cabinet because it will thin out and phase up, kind of, make the sound a bit more nasal, but they're all really excellent sounding cabinets. Like you even with those only those three choices, you'll find super, super good. So with that, I'll shut up and say this is a really surprising plugin. I'm not big on saturators as a rule, but if you take this and again, listen to the demo that these guys made, or listen to what Eric's about to show you, download the trial, try it for yourself. You'll see this is a really special, I don't know, I think this is kind of a neat, this adds a ton of presence and flavor to your track. So Eric, go through your samples and show them what it can do.
Yeah, I will. Let me cue it up here. I'm going to turn it off right now. And like what Chris was talking about with the second harmonic and the bias. When you crank the bias up, it really gives you that kind of fuzz tone. Like, you know how fuzz pedals, when you turn them up, there's almost like a built-in gate to it. Like it chokes, like you said, it chokes the sound.
Yep.
And as long as you get a gate, like you'll hear it on the bass here. Let's turn it off for now. Let's hear the sample. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong one. The wrong instance. Let's switch to the right instance here. Now.
There we go. And this is an acoustic bass DI'd, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, an electric bass. Electric bass.
Yeah, like a jazz bass. I'm going to turn down all the... let me turn everything off, more or less, and just try to get a tone from scratch. All right, so let's turn it on. Can already hear a little bit of grit happening.
Oh, yeah.
And that's with everything basically at 0. Like off. On. So even there you're getting, even without any of the tone controls engaged or the distortion cranked up, it still has a bit. Now I'm going to do the, let's just go through the knobs. Some pre-EQ. Can hear all the bass go away when I tilt it up.
Yep.
And then all the high end go away. So like when you're doing drums or something, I found that pulling it down was good for like bass and kick, pulling it down. And then like you said, for guitar and stuff, you turn it up a bit, get a bit more brightness. Let's keep that in the middle. Let's hear the drive. And that's already pretty gnarly, but this is where the fun starts with the bias and the second harmonic.
Yes.
The bias. and second harmonic.
Whoa! Not nice.
If you've got speakers or headphones that go like low frequency response, where you can really hear the low end, it adds a ton of subs. And this is what analog gear does too. What an analog gear has a lot of second harmonics. Well, first off, you get DC offset, and this plugin does have loads of it. When you crank it, it's almost impossible to filter it out anyway. But the real gear is going to do that too. And when you crank the second harmonic, you can hear that gating effect, like. It's maybe not as pronounced on this as some of the other examples, but let's play with some of the tone controls here. The rack control. Overdrive. Which I quite like this one on bass. Big muff. Nice scooped sound. I mean, it's fart bass, right? So I don't know if this is the best example to start with. Like they always say put the best foot forward, but hey, it's giving you an idea. Let's do the some speakers. Fender. And you can hear how the speaker sims are in stereo. Mono with it off. Now you hear the stereo. Let's go Vox. You notice how that ITHACA was flashing red there. I think that means you've gone over.
Yep.
I think that's an actual
it's a clipper.
Like that you don't want that. I don't know. Maybe you do.
Yeah.
Did you read the part in the manual? Is that something useful,
that's the warning. That's the warning to back off.
Okay.
Like it's an overload light.
Right. Okay. And Marshall. So it gives you the, I don't know, to me, a very organic, kind of analog sounding, sounds like a stomp box, really, you know?
Yep.
I tried it on some drums here.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Let me turn them on, like just on a kick and a snare. I've got like a kick and a snare and then two overheads. The overheads I'm not going to put anything on, but for the kick and the snare I will. But first we'll turn them off. There's the one for the snare. Let's go back to the kick and we'll solo the kick. Let's just hear the, actually we'll hear the, just kick, snare, and overheads. Here we go. Nothing on them. And then solo out the kick. And we'll just turn this guy on.
Ooh.
Now, if you wanted to increase the fatness, pull down this pre-EQ. Hear that low end coming in?
Yep.
And then maximum high end, but no low end whatsoever. So I found with bass instruments, pull it down to -2 maybe, or if you really want to exaggerate it down here, -3, -4. It's like a lot of change if you go down to -5. So let's go about there, and let's see if we can hear. Depending on what you want to do, right? Probably a bit much for this song. There's that gating effect. This is a much better example of it.
Yep.
And it will do that on guitar too, and start to sound a lot like a fuzz pedal.
Yep.
Second harmonic. Let's go with a little bit less drive. We'll give it a bit of volume. I know this won't be volume matched, but that's just too hard to do live, so.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will pull it down a little bit to try and, simulate it a bit. Turn it on. Maybe a little less, but believe it or not, the peak level is very close there, right? So, like where the digital peaks out, right here, off. So basically, without going over 0 or whatever, wherever you've got your headroom set, -12 is kind of where I like to be on a mix. Without going over that, you got that much volume gain. Let's do the snare. Let's solo that too. And let's get the snare some crank here. It's off now.
Kick it in, yeah. Oh, there it is.
Oh. And then, of course, you get crazy with these. Like, it gets pretty wild when you crank it.
It does, yeah.
That gating effect again.
Yep.
Like, if you've got, like, there's actual subs that I can hear on this snare, like a big sub-harmonic that happens with the bias and the second harmonic controls, which I really like. Mm-hmm. But probably would want it about here, maybe. Even that's a lot. But... And let's bring in those overheads. I mean, it's audibly distorted, but I guess that's kind of the point too, right? So yeah.
Well, don't forget one of the things they remind you in the manual is feel free to put this on a send and mix it in. Right, like parallel compression. There's nothing wrong with that. For something like drums where distortion's not desirable but thickness is nice, then you can dial it back, leave a little bit of the original signal intact. But you may notice that this behaves a lot like a really fast compressor with some deep ratios, right? It starts to distort and it starts to create some resonance and sustain that wasn't otherwise there in the original track. So on drums, I think, I like dirty compressors on drums anyway. So this is something I can definitely see using as a parallel control, as a way to add some dirt and a little bit more like smearing of a drum track without losing the original transients and the tone. So be worth a try. Because you get tired of compression all the time, right?
Yeah, well, that's it, I kind of went on a bit of an anti-compression crusade recently, where I was working on this album for this band, and we did their last 2 records together, and I'm listening back to the great mixes and stuff. But what I'm hearing is like, maybe there's too much compression on the mix, not enough distortion. So on this record, we're just, it's not like a fundamental wild swing of the approach, but it's just like more tweaked, right? I want to hear
taste change,
less compression, more saturation, right? Just tweaked out.
What have you got some guitars or some keys?
I've got some keys. Let's try that.
While you're digging that up, I'll mention something. I was talking about guitar before and putting it like on a direct signal. If you have a recorded track, especially if it's on the cleaner side, you put this on top and it still sounds great. Even I tried it on a track that already had reverb or delay printed on it, and it still sounded great because it adds some analog dirt to the whole thing. And so it doesn't matter if you've got a direct clean signal or a completely recorded, amped up, or generated from like a fractal or a plug-in or a quad cortex or something like that. It doesn't matter. It works great on finished tracks too.
Yeah, totally. I found that it has the ability. There's no mix knob on it, but if you like in Reaper, Reaper has each plugin comes with its own little mix knob as part of the part of the instance. So, like if I go, let's do a synth. I've got a synth here. Let's pull that up. We'll turn this off, and it's just like a Moog bass. And that's an actual analog synth that, and it does have quite a bit of low-end content if you've got the system to play it. But watch what happens when I turn this on. And I think that's a lot because of the big muff. You could hear the voicing change so much. If I were to take the big muff off, let's hear with ITHACA off. Everything's off. And I'll turn it back on, but this time it won't have the pedal voicing. Still fat. Whereas that first example of this had. So the big muff's a pretty scooped sound. It's really good for bass, and I found it great for guitar, like really heavy guitars. It can do it. And we don't have the speaker emulator on, but let's play with that and see what we could get. Because Nine Inch Nails, when they used to make records, a couple albums, they'd take their synthesizers, but they put them through amps, like in the room, and record all these. And sometimes soft synths, they do that too, like digital synths. And it would just, to them, it just brought everything to life. Yeah, and I just gave them some air around them. And so let's play with that a bit, because these speakers do sound like, it almost sounds like there might be some room sound in there or something, because they do have, not only are they stereo, but there's like a sense of space that gets added, which a lot of IRs, they don't give you that, right? They give you a tone, but you don't hear any. But I think there is some of that in here. Let's hear the different ones. Off. Fender. Vox. And then off. Like, you can hear how much high end those are removing, which is what would happen with the actual cabs, right? It sounds very realistic. Like, it does.
But I think Stefano is a guitar player by nature.
Yeah,
at least that's what I'm told. I've never met him.
No, I got to see his band.
So
he was doing bass.
It was really, this plugin was designed for guitar, as far as I'm led to understand. And although it has great application across a bunch of instruments, it really does shine on guitar. So I don't know if you have a clean guitar sample that you could pull up. If not, then I'll just direct everyone once again, and maybe we should link it in the show notes, to the Acoustica sample on YouTube.
So because, like a DI guitar, like just the DI? I think
you could do either, as long as it's not like, don't do a heavily distorted guitar. If you have a clean recorded guitar or a DI, and don't try to make it anything too chuggy. There you go, perfect.
It's just a solo.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's turn this on. It looks like I've dialed in a sound already. You got the high end cranked. Hang on, let me get you my screen here. I'm so slow these days. I forget how to operate this stuff. Here we go. So just off, and then I'll turn it on. You'll know when it happens.
Yeah. Dude, listen to that.
Nice.
Do me a favor, just for fun, if you could take the drive, bring it down to about an 8, put the EQ at the pre EQ at 3, the drive at 8, the next two at 4, so the second order, and the bias at 4, and then try the overdrive pedal with the tone to taste, and see what that does. Just A/B it for fun.
Okay, here we go. With the Marshall cabinet, cabinet. See, here we go.
We can sample them all, but.
Oh, you hear that?
Yeah.
I really like that.
That's and it makes a big difference. Again, if you A/B it or maybe roll out the second order harmonics so people can tell the difference. I really find you hear it more on guitar. When you roll that down to 0 versus back up to 5, you can hear the difference that it makes. It's audibly thicker and warmer.
Okay, let's do that. Let's pull it down, right? We'll pull it down all the way to second harmonics. Yeah. We'll play it, and then I'll just raise it as it's playing.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Not only thicker, but way more present. All of a sudden, there's a presence boost there, which you wouldn't necessarily expect from something that makes it sound warmer, but there it is. So I don't know. It's there's something about it. It's like one of those. You know what it reminds me of? Remember the Black Box plugin or the Black Box unit by?
Yeah.
Oh, who makes that thing?
I forgot. It's not Dangerous Audio. Who is it?
No,
the plugin's called like HG Black Box, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know what the
anyway. I can't remember the name of the maker.
Yeah.
But it is a hardware unit, and the plugin's inspired by it. But anyway, it's just a magic box. You put it on, and it's really tough to make it sound bad. And this has the similar effect. You could easily use this across a mix. You could easily use this, especially on guitars, to give them a little extra juice, right? And if you had nothing to go with but DI, it's like if you want some vintage tone, like 60s, 70s tone, forget the Sims. Like you could easily use this as a complete end-to-end tone shaper, right through to the cabinet emulation. It's got everything you need to make a great guitar tone. I don't know. This one's kind of cool. And it's like right now it's on sale for €49, I think, something like that. So dude, demo it, because if this is the kind of thing that you're looking for a little mojo to sprinkle on your tracks, this could be a good substitute for a lot of the other, to me, junky saturators that are out there. I really like Black Box. I use it a lot. But over and above that, aside from like a good API channel, like a really good driven API channel, there aren't too many saturators that I listen to and go, oh, I love this thing. Like a lot of people are into FabFilter Saturn. That was never my jam. This, though, I wasn't expecting much out of it because I thought, oh, it's a guitar plug of some kind. It really isn't. So I'll just say that about that.
Yeah. I mean, the very first example I did, which unfortunately I don't have right now, but it's a 7-string, like doing a chug on a low B and a couple chords. Mm-hmm. And I put it on the Big Muff, and I think on the Vox, and I dialed in the second harmonic and the bias, like, because I wanted that kind of crackly, like, you hear it on Nirvana records, or on even on old Sabbath records, where it's not that crunch distortion. It's more like a it's got that rectifier kind of sound in there with like, by that I mean like the second harmonics. Fuzz box, like it's got that chainsaw kind of thing going on, right?
Yep. If you're looking to do Sabbath style or Hendrix style stuff, this would be it.
So good. I'll see if I can do. I also realized that I forgot to hit record on this too. So what you see now is what we get.
That's okay. That's all right. Less post production for you.
That's it. So I've got another example here, which is. Let me go there. This is just a beat, like a sampled electronic kind of drum beat. It's off. Now let's have some fun with it. Let's turn this on.
Sure it's on the right channel?
I think I got the wrong instance.
I think so too.
Let's
that should have been screaming by now.
Yeah, should have been. Let's turn this off. Here we go.
There it is.
It can get pretty crazy, right?
So worth mentioning, I forgot to mention, I'm surprised you didn't, is that second order harmonics a filter, if you will, is inspired by the stuff Bob Moog was working on.
Right. No, neither of us mentioned that, and we should have, because it's totally based on the Moog circuits.
Yeah. Which, if you like those old vintage synths and the kind of fuzz that they made and the warmth and the realness, the pop of those analog circuits, that's kind of what this is inspired by.
Yeah, I love it. It's got, the thing is, I remember those old, and also like the Mooger Fugger pedal. But also back in the old gear, the old like 70s, 80s gear, they had a parametric EQ. They had a bunch of different crazy, and they didn't sound like any other EQs. They were very aggressive. Like turning the knob a little bit made a lot of.
A big difference, yeah.
You could crank it too, right? So you could get more gain out of your EQ, and more resonance and stuff. Very cool. Like when this first came out, and I heard that it was based on the Moog, and I thought it'd be just like a synth filter, right? Like a resonant filter or something. It was only when I started trying it and I realized, like, no, it's more like this is your tone box. This is your distortion box. That's what it is.
Yep,
and
100%.
You could use this on all kinds of stuff, crazy stuff. The speaker sims are phenomenal. Lots of versatility in the EQs, surprising too, because they're just tilt EQs. There's only one knob for the, and you can hear in that last example also how much the second tone control can do as well, like in terms of fattening something up or brightening it up. So I think this is a winner all around. What else did you try?
You know what? I tried it on drums, like full drum kit, and I like that sound. Like I like a, that song "Innocent" by Our Lady Peace, or the Zeppelin stuff where there's a lot of crunch and distortion in a drum track. I don't mind that. I like that for an effect every once in a while. So that I dug. Have we got anyone in the conversation here? Join the conversation to interact with the creator. I can't see anything in the chat, but we do have a bunch of people watching.
Oh, that's good.
So
feel free
hello
to leave
out there,
them,
everybody.
Leave some questions or some.
Or just if you have something you want to say. It'd be good to hear from you guys.
Yeah, it's good. It's okay. We can also do another example if we want. I mean, we've pretty much we heard the drums, we heard guitar, we heard synth. I think that's. I don't think I've got anything else that's particular. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got okay. So we're gonna put we're gonna put a fuzz pedal into the ITHACA. We're going to set them both like fuzz pedals, and this fuzz. I'll play it without the example. The fuzz pedal is just like it's an octave fuzz, where I know it's like a rectifier trick, and if you play the guitar in a certain position, you hear that high octave come up, like this old Jimi Hendrix, kind of like the Octavia pedal. So it's that kind of pedal, and let's just hear it without anything on it. It's just that pedal, DI straight in. And let's pull this up. I think you can already hear where this might be going, right?
Yep.
So I'll just try to dial this in just from advance. I'll turn the drive and the bias and second harmonic down all the way, leave the EQ flat, leave the tone flat for now, but we will turn on the Vox speaker. Let's turn on the Vox. And let's hear that. So even like not even using much of the drive, you can already hear the change in the tone. I'll turn it off and on. But here's where it gets fun now, because we're going to start putting in the drive and the bias and all that. So there you go, right? I mean, to me, that
sounds like a bad nightmare.
It does. Or a Jimi Hendrix album that they forgot to turn down the mic preamp. Oh, and it wasn't Jimmy playing either. But
right.
But there you go. Pretty happy with it all, man. Like,
yeah, nice job, guys. I can't wait to see what they do next.
Totally, especially like I'm sure Stefano's probably working on his next thing already. But this Do line from Acoustica is pretty exciting, because there's a bunch of third-party developers that make cool stuff. Right, you got London Acoustics. Let me think off the top of my head. He used to have like Analog in the Box. I don't know if he's still doing stuff. That was really good stuff. He did the Azure EQ, I think, originally, which was like the NIF Soma.
Oh yeah.
Who else was there? There's a bunch of developers anyway. That
does this mean they've opened up some kind of API so that other people can use like the hyper technology and stuff just plugging into it, or no? Is that a
yeah? I mean, it's got the hyper technology. It's got all the clipping parameters and stuff in there. It's got and of course, when Acoustica added oversampling a couple of years ago, so that's something we also didn't mention, I don't think, so you can oversample this plugin.
So I ran it at 16x, and I probably would have tapped out at about 3 or 4 instances at 16x, but I usually go for 4, max 8 anyway, so it's not something you'd want on every channel, but if you had to use 4 or 5 instances, I'm sure you'd be fine. Now, the question I had before is, does this mean that Acoustica has opened up their API so that you can tap into it, or am I
I think so.
misunderstanding what this means?
No, because I think what they used to do, and I mean, correct me if things have changed, but they used to have this program called a NAT, and it was that was the software you used to sample the gear. So you open up the NAT software, you plug in your output, it fires all these space noises into the thing, and then you record it on the other side, and that's how you get your profiles. Right. And the hyper technology, I think, is something something Acoustica built on top of that to reduce CPU load, and then also to get the best of both worlds. Too. Yeah. And then and the size of the files. So in terms of the hyper, I couldn't really speak to everything under the hood. Maybe we get Stefano on the show, ask him a bit more about how he did this. It's not a bad idea. It's really well done. I mean, his plugins in the past, if you've seen that we did like Surrey and Kent, and there's another one. There was like a Hiwatt and the Vox and
I remember Fender. That. Yeah.
And those were really good. And I think where the creativity really comes in is like, yes, you can get some cool tones, by itself. But if you're trying to incorporate this into another, like a chain, where maybe you have some analog pedals, or maybe you use the speaker simulator off of this, but the distortion from somewhere else, or vice versa, it opens up, because I found that with a good pedal, I could get really great thrash and metal kind of tones out of this, not relying so much on its distortion, of course, which is more fuzzy. But just using the speaker sim and getting a little bit of sag, like to simulate what a power amp would do. A pedal into this, which is actually what you've heard on a couple of these examples, right? Had a pedal, analog pedal going in. And I found that too also with the older products with Fullerton. Was it Fullerton? It wasn't Fulham. Yeah, well, with those 3 amps, there's like at least 3 of them, I think, and yeah, they all took pedals very, very well. So if you've got an analog pedal collection, like this might be all you need. Treat this as a speaker plus extra tone, or like maybe like a console distortion or whatever, however you want to look at it. Like with second harmonic, to me, not only like you're saying when it gets fatter, but like it feels like it's filling in the holes in the sound, right? Like
really, no kidding.
Yeah, and it just brings, and it's not really bringing the overall level up by much, right?
No.
And that's always, me, I go on those diatribes about volume matching and stuff, where it's like, yes, you have to volume match, and that can help. But also you want to look at peak matching, level matching. How loud can I get this in the mix without starting to overload the digital bus, right? And if all of your elements have those transients controlled, you're getting a lot of loudness efficiency. And so that's always something I'm looking at when I mix, right? And I know people get annoyed because when I'm listening to it that way, it's not a volume matching scenario, right? I'm thinking, no, it's like, how loud can I get this without that meter going over a certain point, right?
Yeah.
And whereas if you're level matching, that's when you can hear how much damage are you really doing to the sound or not, right?
Yeah, of course.
But, it's just different. Yeah, it's just a different lens to look through. But,
it's something different to try. Yeah, as opposed to like always, going for a Neve clone or a whatever. This is something totally different. It looks like the front panel of an amplifier, like a Fender, and yet it does something that works quite well on a number of different sources. So if you're looking for something different that can maybe inject something new, something that gets you more creative, like I always like new plugins, because if nothing else, I need constant inspiration. I get bored with the same tools and the same toys. Something like this comes out and it jacks up your tone. You're like, well, where could I go with this? Like, what could I do? And that tends to get you, in front of an instrument, recording your songs, arranging and composing. And that really is the most important thing. So people talk about gear acquisition syndrome, but at 50 pounds, which is what, is that $100 even US, maybe a bit more? I can't remember. About $100. This is within reach for most people. And by the way, don't forget, they have the trial, so download it. I knew in a couple of hours where I would use this and where I wouldn't. So you lose nothing by downloading the trial and giving it a shot. And let us know what you think, and let us know what you'd like to see next. So EB, we're at about 45 minutes. I suggest we kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Since we didn't record this, don't forget to rename the live stream if you can, to indicate that we're demoing ITHACA, because it's not in the title.
Oh, right. No, it's not in the title.
So maybe just shift that.
Just in the description. And,
is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's all. So we'll put that in the title too. Hopefully this all came out well again, because I didn't record it. So this is what you see is what you get. And
that's what you get.
That's it,
all
man.
Good.
So what we'll do
is
we're going to say goodbye for now, and maybe we'll come back, because we did have some movies and stuff that we wanted to talk about. There's a reboot coming out for The Exorcist, which looks like
that's right.
Could be really cool. Could be a disaster, but
could be horrible.
We'll do that next time. But,
okay.
Well, and let me see if I can get this outro going again.
All right.
I forgot how to do all this stuff, right? So yeah, here we go. We'll see you next time on the next.
See you guys.